everybody. I always want to say, we're back.
That's right. It's in their head now.
I don't know why.
We played it recently.
I know.
It's good.
Anyway, hi,
That's
Evan.
Right. Hi, Scott.
How are you?
I'm great. We got a great episode today.
We do. We're podcasting today. Yay.
Yay. We have a new episode today with Jay Whatley.
Great guest.
Man, he's fun. He's a great guy.
He's a
local
DJ.
Radio DJ. Started when he was 15, we find out.
Yes.
And kind of goes through his story. He helped
Very
us
impressive.
at Easter. Absolutely.
A hustler.
I think side hustle maybe is a better
Side hustle.
Yeah, a hustler is a different connotation.
I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, we are glad you're here. Make sure you subscribe to wherever you're listening or watching on YouTube so you don't miss a single episode. New ones every Wednesday. We got some fun stuff lined up.
We do.
It's going to be a good time.
We have fun stuff. We're always fun.
We are fun, Scott. So make sure you do that and leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast you're listening to or on YouTube. Make sure to give us a like. It helps people to find it, get that content up. We sure appreciate it.
And it helps me keep a job.
That's right. Keep Scott's job and listen to this episode with Jay Whatley. It gets worse every time, so...
I decided to do it low this time.
That's right. So that intro music, Jay, as our guest, doesn't know, is Justin did that, and he would sing along with it. And so Scott has tried to fill those shoes.
Sing. He did it like a high-pitched,
and go along.
And I can't do it very well.
I don't think there's many situations where someone could fill his shoes.
There's no situation. By the way, for those listening or looking, we have a special guest, Jay Whatley.
I think the term is watching.
Watching?
Are you looking at YouTube?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
You look at it on your computer.
If you're
That's true.
accepting the content.
Yeah, oh,
if your eyeballs are on
see?
this.
See, we have a professional with us today,
Yeah,
so he knows.
Professional. Let me tell you guys, you are a professional. First podcast ever with headphones for everyone and intro music played live. I've never heard that.
See, Scott,
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Your legacy,
I started
excellence.
that.
You did.
It's all you.
You like that?
That is
watched,
excellent.
We watched a
Yeah.
podcast yesterday. Somebody on staff with us showed that his nephew was on, and it was not very good.
Well,
and so
they're trying.
That's right. They're trying. I'm not going to name them. Not going to blast them, but we appreciate that, Jay. 'Cause
Things
we're
like
trying.
podcasting, though, I imagine I've never done it, but I imagine every episode you learn something and kind of figure out a better way to do
You
it.
would think, but no.
But no, not at all.
No.
We just keep getting worse.
It's
Actually,
actually gotten worse.
That's right. Some people just
And
miss
now
Justin
we've got
and
you
John.
on with us today.
So,
Yeah, so
good luck.
Good luck.
No, man, Jay, tell us about you. You helped us out at Easter, so we reached
That was
out and just
so
wanted to
fun.
talk, and it was fun, man. Thanks for doing that.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate the invite today. Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited. Anytime I get asked to do anything like this, I'm excited about it. Get out of the normal grind and
Routine.
the normal routine, yeah. And I love you guys. I love Simple Church, so I'm excited to be here, yeah.
That's awesome. So tell us about you. Some people listening might recognize your voice. They might
Okay.
have heard it around town and done some things over
And
the years.
flip the channel
That's
real
right.
quick. Yeah, just I've done radio. I'm from Shreveport, Keithville, actually.
I didn't know
So
that.
got a little twang in there that I'm trying to work
drawl.
out. A little drawl. And I've been in radio since I was 15.
Wow.
15.
So how did you get started at 15?
It's a great story.
That's why you're here.
Is that why we're
That's
doing it?
right.
Yes.
I actually applied to work at Brookshire's, and I didn't get an interview, and I needed to work. I needed money. I wrote an article about this a couple weeks ago, so it's fresh on the mind. But at the time, I was going to Evangel. And prior to Evangel, I went to Walnut Hill. So
I went to Walnut Hill.
Really?
There's a
Yeah.
connection.
Work for the best, accept the best, and be the very best you can
Yeah,
be, baby.
yeah. I was
Wow.
Principal Hardison was my
Albert,
principal.
The
Yeah.
greatest, yeah.
Yeah,
He'd
they
say,
brought him
now
back
he would
out
say,
of retirement.
He'd say, now work for the best, accept the best, and be the very best you can be.
That's a great impersonation.
I love that man. He's a great
Yeah,
dude.
he was awesome.
There you go. What's the mascot at Walnut Hill?
Hornet, baby.
Yeah, the
Y'all are
Hornet.
fellow Hornets.
You kidding me?
Yes.
Hornets for life.
Yes.
We got the same tattoo.
We won't show where it
No,
is,
we can't
though.
show it. We
Yeah,
can't
it's
show it.
It's
We
a
can't show
safe,
it.
friendly podcast. So you're
that's
15.
cool, yeah.
You went to
Yeah.
Brookshire's.
Well, so it's quite a culture shock in many regards, going from a public school for 9 years and then going to Evangel. But for me, the most important thing was lunch money. At Walnut Hills, $1.25, you get a whole tray. But at Evangel, pizza slices cost $2, hamburgers $3. I didn't have that kind of money. So, and no joke, when I was 15, I needed money so I could stop eating Cheetos and drinking water out of a styrofoam cup for lunch.
Wow.
So I needed a job. I got a hardship license to work, and I lived on Mansfield Road. We were always at Brookshire's, so of course I was 15. I was like, where can I work? Brookshire's. Let's go. So I never interviewed. I applied, never heard back, applied again, never heard back, and just kind of gave up. working. Because if it's not Brookshire's, it's nothing.
It's the only way.
Yeah, that's the Brookshire slogan.
That's what I was thinking. So, as you can imagine, the fierce rivalry between two Christian high schools, Evangel and Calvary, it's fierce, right?
People know.
So what do? You make rap songs, talking badly about the other school.
Diss tracks.
Diss tracks.
You got a Calvary diss track?
Yeah, man. This is MySpace days.
Oh, yeah.
I'm aging myself.
Wow.
Absolutely.
But you had a profile song on MySpace, and for whatever reason, I started making songs about Calvary. And like I said, they're as tense as a Christian high school rivalry can be. But it was really funny. They were horrible songs. They're gone forever, but I would put one on my profile.
Are they really gone forever? We can pull one up.
They better be.
Okay. We're going to have to look into that, Scott.
Did you delete?
No, we don't have to look into it. We don't have
Did
to
you
look into
delete
anything.
your MySpace?
No, it's still MySpace is still, but the songs are gone. Thank goodness. Ripped forever. And so I would post a song for a week on my profile, and Evangel people would love it and they'd support it, right? And then Calvary people would hate it and they get so mad. So they had a guy over there that made songs as well, and we went back and forth. And he was horrible, of course. I was much better. I dominated.
No
it was
doubt.
easy.
Absolutely.
And very, very long story short, at the time, a guy named Gary McCoy, who's still on the radio today, I didn't know him from Adam, but at that time, he was running all 6 of the Gap Broadcasting radio stations in Shreveport. And his son went to Evangel. And sure, maybe my friendship with the son helped, but I like to think it's because it was just so good.
The quality of the diss track.
Exactly.
So he called me and asked me, he said the songs were funny and asked if I wanted to work at the radio station.
No
I'm
way.
not kidding. That's 100% how it happened.
Wow.
That's a great
There's
story.
probably more details in there. He asked if I was 16. I said, no, I'm 15, but I have a hardship license. I already tried to get jobs and couldn't get it. And he said, well, why don't you come see me? Evangel and the radio station's on the same road. Just kind of a weird fate deal. I had no clue. So I would, that day I met with them, and then the next week I would go and work in the mornings from about 5 in the morning till 8, and then walk to school. And did that from sophomore year until today. Here we are.
That's
Do
crazy.
you still walk?
I don't walk anymore.
That's good. So the moral of the story
Maybe I
is,
should. Looking at the physique these days.
no one in this room is judging. I promise.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely not.
I did. Well, I didn't have a car until after I left high school. So, I mean, I walked for three years back and forth. I kind of gave up sports and just before school and after school would just go down to the radio station.
That's
And
hustling.
you naturally took to it? Was it something that was a learning curve? Were you reading?
Yeah, man. It was a huge learning curve. I think the biggest learning curve is you imagine working at a radio station, 6 radio stations, lots of opportunities. So when you go in, you're expecting, a show. And I'm sure I couldn't have handled it at that point. But instead, you're going in and you're just doing the busy work that the DJs didn't want to do.
Sure.
And I actually learned to appreciate that because you're hands-on, a lot of it is being on the air is one thing, but knowing how to be on the air and knowing what sounds good and how to make it sound good, like that's something that still helps me to this day when there's other DJs that are hands-off completely. So they don't know how to convert this or play this or mix this.
They just talk.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I did that without a show at all for probably 2 years, but working pretty much every day, 7 days a week. Weekends I'd work midnight to 6 a.m. and then flip the schedule on Mondays in high school. It was crazy.
That is crazy. So who's some of the DJs you worked with? What year is this roughly?
This would be 2007.
All right.
Maybe late 2006, 2007.
So who are some of those people?
Robert J. Wright.
Yep.
In fact, I grew up listening to Robert J. Wright.
Sure,
so
I did too.
When I got interviewed, he said, do you have any questions at the end of it? And I said, yeah, it's Robert J. Wright here. I'd love to meet him. And he's a great guy. We work together now at the Mudbugs, too. Aaron McCarty. At that point, my favorite DJ was Stifler.
Oh,
If you remember Stifler.
I do.
Stifler was on K94.5, and he was so good. He did nights. It was just a party. My absolute favorite voice in Shreveport radio history, his name was Danny Fox, but he didn't go by that name on the air. He did traffic updates
Okay.
for all 6 of the radio stations. But what I loved about it is he did a character for each radio station. So if he was on the country station, he'd be Rocky Road. He'd have a nice little southern drawl. But on K94.5, he had a name called Lane Changer. And I'm not kidding you, he sounded just like this. It's Lane Changer here on K94.5. We got a pile up on I-20, y'all. Be careful out there now. Little Cajun, So I had in my
Water
mind,
boy, that's what I pictured.
Yeah, water boy. In my head, though, I envisioned this guy. I thought he'd be like 6'5", 6'6", dreads, buff, smoke cigarettes inside, sunglasses inside. I had envisioned this guy for years. I met him pretty much right off the bat. He's 70 years old at that time, 5 foot nothing, 100 pounds soaking wet in boots. Yeah. Smoked inside. I got that one right.
One. 1 out of 3.
Yeah, though I mean those are some of the names though. A lot of those people are still there to this day.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So what's shocking for me is I've worked with teenagers for a long time. They really don't listen to the radio as much. Some of them do, they're doing it, but that's all I had. I remember because we weren't allowed to have secular music growing up.
Right.
And so the radio was the outlet of being able to go and sneak and listen. And we were just talking about this the other day with my wife of Eminem. She's like, how do you know the words of that Eminem song? It's like, because it was every third song on the radio when I was in 7th grade. And
For sure.
my rebellious phase of going and listening and doing that. But we're about the same age and growing up listening to those.
I was
it really
the same
was a big
way. I
deal.
loved listening to the radio. And ironically, I listened to, at that point, it was the Big Dog 94.5.
Oh, yeah.
But I loved that radio station. And I remember calling into a radio station. I was like 10 trying to win tickets to Watertown.
Oh, yeah.
And I just remember that phone ringing for 10, 15
Hours,
minutes.
it seemed like.
Yeah, hours. Then the guy answers, and I froze. It was so nerve-wracking, you know?
It's a pressure.
It's cool. But you're definitely right. These days, it's like we were that last generation that you had TV, didn't have all the channels.
Right.
And you had, maybe a PlayStation if you were lucky enough, and then you had radio. And it would, back then though too, every voice you heard on the radio was live and local. Robert J. Wrights, you could meet them.
Yeah.
And it was special. There's something magic about that.
They'd be
and
appearances,
it still exists to this day. It's just so different now.
Right.
Wow, I feel very old. Because
in my day, we had 3 channels.
yeah, in my day, 99X was around.
Yeah.
Sega was the game system
Of choice. Just a couple years older, Scott.
Yeah, MySpace did not exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember calling into 99X. Me and my friends, we would call in at late night because I can't remember the name of the show, and that bothers me that I can't remember that. But
Bob and Tom? We listened to a lot of Bob and Tom.
They're
It
great.
wasn't Bob and Tom. It was a night DJ.
Okay.
On Friday nights, and so when we would have sleepovers, we'd call in and try to get on the radio, and we almost always got on. But of course, we were 6th, 7th grade, and we were like, "Oh, we're on the radio."
Right. No, it's
Right. We would listen to it all night playing video games, and it would be the same 5 songs. And it's like, I know every word to those songs now. We did
That hasn't
Horton
changed
Sports.
Wait,
either.
I remember Casey Kasem and the Countdown. Mm-hmm. Yeah, wow, that just popped in my
Came
head.
back.
Yeah.
We did Courts and Sports, and so we'd go in the summer
Okay.
and swim and do the pool, and they'd be playing K94.5, and so it was Drops of Jupiter by Train. I know
Yeah,
every word of
man.
that song because it played like every 4th song for 2 hours.
And also too, and maybe I'm gonna sound like the old guy here.
Come on.
Music was just better then.
Well, you had to have talent.
Right. The music today certainly and I'm not talking badly about the artists and the music that we play that it's popular, but it's all kind of the same now. It's got the same tempo. It's got really the same melody on pretty much all of them. It's kind of most of the songs that are hitting now are super depressing songs.
Sure. Different vibe.
Yeah, different vibe.
I've also heard, though, too, that when at 25, your brain fully developed, it actually closes and is more resistant to new things.
Oh, there you go.
And so
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much all music you like is before you're 25.
Well, of course, I haven't turned 25 yet, so
You're barely, almost there.
it's going to come soon.
Almost there. So
Yeah, I knew I felt old when I heard Smashing Pumpkins on 98 Rocks, which is the oldies station.
classic.
there's some
which I
stuff
was
on
like-
classic rock that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, that's not a classic. I listen
It's
to
current
that.
music.
I listen to that on my tape deck.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So you got into the radio business at 15. You've been doing it ever since. You
Yeah,
also-
I left once. I left for about a year.
Okay. What'd you do in
Where
that
did you
year?
go?
Well, actually, I left voluntarily once for a year, or a little less than a year. I went to Destin. I thought it would
That's
be
not
great
a
to
bad
live in
place to
Destin
go.
and do radio in Destin, and it was great for 3 months. June, July, and August was awesome. September comes, the shops close down. It's a ghost town. You're like the only one living there. And then I left involuntarily when my first daughter was born,
All right.
and
So
sold cars.
Oh, how'd that go?
It went great for a month.
For a month.
Sold a couple?
Till my guaranteed paychecks wrapped up. No, my daughter was on the way like 5 months before, and I knew I needed to make real good money. And I'm sure we'll dive into this if we have time. but
Yeah, we got
money
time.
in radio is not really what people I think expect. So when I'm just solo doing my thing, ramen noodles are fine with me. let's go. But then when I had my first daughter, I mean, something had to give. So I sold cars. I knew I could get a job. And I did that for about a month, a little over a month.
Yeah, and just one for you.
Yeah, then I got another just crazy fate story. I got connected with the guy that ran Blade Studios in Shreveport, and they had a show called The Tim Brando Show. It's a sports talk show on Sirius XM and CBS Sports Network, and they needed a producer, and I was available. So got right back into it, kind of fell upwards, from K94.5 in that period. And that was like maybe 10 years ago now.
Yeah, I think I'd go from selling cars to be a producer for a show.
I went from local radio to selling cars to producing a national television and radio show without leaving Shreveport.
That's a V.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
For sure. Just crazy luck, really.
We don't believe in luck here. That's right. Absolutely.
I think it's luck.
For sure.
There you go.
Just
difference of opinion.
That's what podcasts are for, right?
We'll figure it out. So you got back here, though, from Destin. So what kept bringing you back to Shreveport? You've been back here for a while, growing up here?
I always, before I had daughters, I just wanted to move so bad.
Yep.
I wanted to go.
And I think that's pretty common.
I just wanted to hit and also, too, I was young and I would say naive, but I knew where my head was at the time, where I was 15 and already kind of working in it. So a lot of people, to get into radio, they get out of high school and go to college for 4 years, 2 years, and apply at a million radio stations and hope they can get a job. So when I turned 18 and got out of high school, I just wanted to move, man. And I applied everywhere and never got a job until Destin. But they knew what they were doing. They were like, yeah, come down here, you'll love it. And so I moved right after the school year. I moved literally a couple days after the school year into my senior year. And then September comes, and it was I just missed home, though. I missed people here. I missed the radio station here at that time. That was really all I knew, for 3 years before that was K94.5 and that radio station. So,
wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
So how long did you stay in Destin, though? Full year?
Probably like 9 months, 8 or 9 months.
Gotcha.
Well, I lived in Destin and went to college in Panama City.
Yep.
But I didn't realize that it was an hour drive. And this was back when gas was about $4.50 a gallon, and I had a big white conversion van.
Nice.
With the blinds and the couch.
Couch.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was hard. That coupled with being that far away, and then people left and didn't really make good money. So came back, and I haven't left since then.
Wow. So you mentioned your daughter. You have two daughters now.
Yeah.
How old are they?
River and Rose. River's almost 9, and Rose is 6.
9 and 6. Got to meet them at Easter. They're great.
They're
Had a
good
time.
kids, man.
Oh, man. They're sweet. And I have 2 daughters, too, so I can definitely relate to that.
For
Scott,
sure.
no kids that we know of.
No, I have no children.
All right, good. That's
None
good.
yet.
Well, none that I know of.
Well, I got one that's getting a little attitude these days, so it's getting that 9, that little something's going on there.
Oh,
Them
man.
hormones are flying.
I'm not looking forward to that. We're not there yet.
See, when I meet like bad kids, like not to say that your kids are bad, because I know his kids. I don't know your kids,
And they're horrible.
but I will say, like when I see people with like really bad kids, I'm like, it's not so bad not having kids.
That's right.
I think I'm okay.
Right.
It is wonderful, Scott. It is a blessing.
You
There's
love
some
it.
really crappy days.
Yeah.
There's some really hard days.
Now I will say I lived with a guy that had a kid, and I did throw that kid out of my room one time.
Literally
threw him out of my room. But that's a whole nother issue. We won't go into that.
That's right. I don't think Child Protective Services can get you if you're not the
And the
parent.
kid deserved it.
He did. He did.
So 9 and 6, being a dad, working, going through that is, I'm sure, a challenge like anything else.
Huge challenge, man.
Absolutely.
Huge. Like I said, 4 months before my first daughter was born, I was making no money selling cars.
Yep.
And my whole life up to that point was, radio, and then now I'm not in radio. Girl's going to be here any day. And it's amazing, though, what having kids, it'll change you immediately. I mean, the second you see your child and hold your child, like it just changes every wire in your brain. And it's really cool. I mean, it's without the kids, I have no doubt I would still, I don't know what I would be doing.
Hopefully not driving a conversion van.
That thing had to go.
Where is that van?
It's still in Destin.
Hey.
Somebody, if you're listening
I would
right
imagine
now.
it is. My first car ever, I bought a $1,000 car at Pipes in Shreveport. It was a 1993 blue Dodge Caravan. And on the way to Destin, I totaled it in the armpit of America, Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
The armpit of America.
I totaled it. It was my favorite vehicle ever. I had NOS energy drinks taped to the steering wheel.
Nice.
Perfect vehicle, this blue Dodge Caravan.
Why did you have NOS?
It was just so ironic.
Because of NOS, yeah. I mean, I get it.
If somebody asked you,
I got pulled over leaving the radio station at like 4 a.m. in the van once, and I was flying on Mansfield Road. It's like going 50. I was going like legit probably 20 miles over the speed limit, and it's real late at night, weekend. The cop pulls me over, and I'm immediately like, what can I say to immediately break this tension? Get this guy to smile, get him to laugh. I go to roll down the window, and I look at him. He's 65, veteran, big white mustache. Ain't gonna happen. I freeze. I say nothing. I'm not making this up. He takes his flashlight and shines it in at me and shines it in on the steering wheel. And I'm nervous. And he goes, well, you got NOS on this bad boy. That explains why you're going so fast. He started laughing. He thought that was so funny that I had taped with just Scotch tape these little energy shots.
Did you get a ticket?
Not at all. He thought that was just so funny.
So lucky. I made a cop laugh so hard, and I still got a ticket for not wearing a seatbelt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, well.
not as good as
You should have had that NOS. So when I told her that, I just bought I wanted to have the Angel, so I bought this big white van.
the Angel.
I got a little Angel. The first one was old blue, and then the white one was the Angel. I had a little Angel thing that I put on the hood.
I hope that van is painted.
It better be painted.
I hope it has some kind of dragon or something on it.
Yep.
Or an
Somewhere.
angel.
In Florida, that's probably
Yeah.
not a stretch.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, it broke down, and I left it there on the side of the road. I swear to you, I left it. I didn't do anything with it. It broke down. I was done with it. I have
You just walked away.
I literally walked away.
Where did you walk to?
It was on Highway 80 right there, or Bloody 98, Highway 98. This is right. The radio station's right there. I was real close.
It might still be sitting there.
Wow.
Dude, there's no telling. Somebody might have pushed that off into the Gulf.
I hope it's still there.
It's 2009, so it's been a while.
Wow.
Rest in peace.
Oh, the old Angel.
Poor angel.
I didn't think we'd talk about my vans
That's
today.
you never know where it's gonna go.
So I have a follow-up question because we name all of our vehicles per John Hagler because that's just something that we do because he's a big car guy.
and the church has vehicles because
the
people
church,
donate them and leave them, and then we'll
so
split
like-
some up and give them away, and
like
some
we
of them
have we
stay.
have Gator, we have
The Golden
Biggin, the Golden Gator, yeah. So now currently, does your car have a name?
No, I have no names. I stopped naming after the Angel. I can't. I don't think I've named a car after that. I've
might
had
have to
like
do that.
9. I've had 9 after the Angel.
9?
Yeah.
Wow.
The last 3 are the only cars that cost more than $1,500. But prior to that, I would just
bargain.
Well, the way I saw it at that point, I spend $1,500 on a car and run it until the wheels fall off.
Leave it on the side of the road and start over.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's
They're
the risk?
disposable.
I have a car like that right now. It's sitting in my driveway with no wheels.
There you go.
Yeah.
The
so I feel
only
you.
the only car I've ever owned that I really loved, I used to have a 1984 Datsun 84 300ZX Turbo Edition.
Nice.
It was sick. Had it for about 6 months. And had a baby on the way. And the old Z had to
Hated.
go.
Aw.
And I miss that car to this day. I've looked for it. Like I've looked up the VIN. See, it's like in Pennsylvania now.
Dang.
I'm just waiting for it to hit the market. I'll take out every loan. Dude.
I don't think
hoping.
you'll have to take out a loan to buy that car back.
Oh, it's a 50th anniversary edition. It's one of only 1,000
Wow.
ever made.
You should have kept it.
I didn't realize what I had.
Parenting.
No, that's true. For like I said, that's kind of part of the struggle, though. I get out of the radio and don't have much money, and then have this car that I can't fit a car seat in, you know. So I had to sell it and had to make a lot of life changes, though, pretty quick.
But now you're doing good.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He doesn't have that car, so
Everything's relative.
he has
you know?
kids. Lost the dachshund.
I think I'd take kids over a car.
That's a good call.
It was a good car, though.
Just for the record.
The car didn't cry.
That's
true.
right. So you've got a funny history though with Simple Church because you and Justin end up at a lot of weddings together.
We do a lot. I actually remember the first time I met him. He doesn't remember this, I know. We were at the Nike in the Boardwalk, the Nike store. This was a long time ago. I can't put a year on it, but it was a very long time ago. And I just see him walking in there, and I'm like, I know this guy from somewhere. I know him. And so I'm walking around. Then finally I put 2 and 2 together. I was like, oh, it's Justin from the Simple Church. And just went up and struck a conversation with him. That was the first time I ever met him and talked to him. And he was just so nice. Wanted to know who I was, what I did, stuff like that. And he was just so genuine. And years had gone by, and I didn't talk to him that much. And we started like every weekend doing weddings together. I asked him if we were booking like duos, like are we a package deal all of a sudden? We did so many weddings together in a very short amount of time, and still do. And every wedding we just catch up and touch base, and he's just a great dude. He's so cool. It's so genuine though. You know, I think I prioritize that in people. You know, and people that you choose to be around and be friends with. I think genuine is the most important thing. And he's the most genuine dude.
He keeps it real.
Know, he keeps it real.
Very real.
And, you know, I'm not the most, you know, biblical, what's the word? Religious.
Yeah.
I am, but I'm not the most, but I do.
You're an evangelical.
Exactly. And don't you forget it. But I just believe that when you read about disciples, I believe that in the Bible they're writing about people like Justin. I think some people lose sight of it, and I don't think he has.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love the dude. He's a great guy.
We say this a lot. This Justin you see is the Justin you get. I mean, there is
Yes.
no separate. A lot of times, if you meet pastors,
Right.
they have a stage persona, right, and they're a different person. But
Fine, and that's
absolutely.
fine. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
But with him, it's like it doesn't matter if there's a crowd. If it's just you and him, it's the same dude, and that's just so hard to find, especially as you know. As we go on, like it's so easy for people to have an audience, right? And anyone can have an audience, and an audience will change you. But Justin's a good dude. I love him, man.
We're fans.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big Justin fan.
So, what was your church experience like growing up pre-Simple Church? So, with Evangel there?
Pre-Evangel, no church at all.
Yeah.
So maybe a handful of my entire childhood before a freshman, I would go to a small Baptist church by the trailer park I lived in on Mansfield Road, and that was like maybe on Easter.
Yeah.
Or if a family member's getting baptized or something like that. So you can imagine the shock when you go from that to Evangel freshman year in the chapels and speaking in tongues. Like I was like, what is that? You know? But this is another thing. A lot of people don't know this. Kind of towards the end of high school, and I had already started in radio. I actually moved in with the Durons and lived with them for a while.
Yeah.
They're the reason that I went to Evangel. I played baseball with David D., one of the second youngest son, and they Grammy or Francis Duron asked during like an all-star trip, what high school was I going to? I said, I'm going to Southwood. And she said, no, you're going to go to Evangel. And my mom, it's like, no, we can't do that. And they just kind of made it happen for me. It's like, wow, I owe them everything and then some. And then I moved in and lived with them for a while. I love them with all my heart. They're the best, the Durons, the whole Duron family. So I always feel like I have to give them credit for
that's awesome,
anything
man.
and everything, because I have like I said earlier, if I didn't have kids, I don't know where I'd be. It'd be a lot worse if I didn't have the Durons as well. I have no clue what path I was on,
Oh, yeah,
So,
man.
I love them. And, yeah, I went to Shreveport Community Church.
Yeah.
That was the deal when I moved in. I had a key to the house. I had a huge room, and I could come and go as I pleased. I never had to check in. Their only rule was to be in at dinner if they asked for a family dinner, and to be at church every Sunday. That was their only rule.
There you
so
go.
I said, I'll agree to that.
You could do that. All
That's
right.
awesome.
So you get out of Evangel, you're there, you're figuring life out, and somehow you stumble upon Simple Church. So you knew Justin. How did you end up at
Simple? I enjoyed. I wear a hat everywhere I go, and I knew I could wear a hat into Simple Church. I'm not making that up.
And you were not the first person to say something like that.
I was 100%. I knew I could just be comfortable. I went to Regal, in the Boardwalk, and just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the services, though. I enjoyed the timing of them. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed getting out at noon. But even the sermons that Justin gives, they're just so relatable, and I just loved them from day one. And then with the lifestyle and jobs and stuff, it's hard to go to church pre-COVID. I work, pretty much 10 hours a day weekdays, and then Fridays I'd flip my schedule and get off work at 7 or 8 at the radio station and then go to the club and work until 2 a.m. or 6 a.m. So it was just tough on Sundays to flip it to go. So, but Simple Church was online, and it was just, it worked for me. And like I said, I already knew Justin and loved Justin, and so that's kind of how it happened.
So speaking of pre-COVID and versus, so have you? I'm guessing that post-COVID or COVID and now has probably hurt you some,
So
not
bad.
physically, but
physically.
Yeah.
It punched me right in the face, man. It was
because you've lost out on that income. And
Events.
that, those
there's no
events.
events. You can't.
pre-COVID. I used to brag that I had it made. Right? There's, club gigs and wedding gigs. Generally, that's just cash money.
And most of those, is that word of mouth? How are you getting those? Like, how does somebody...
Well, I always tell people, if you want to book a wedding, and then you'll book 5 more. So weddings more, for me, it was just the day I decided to do them. And I'm an idiot for not doing them years before. Because a lot of people think if you're on radio, you know how to DJ and play music, but it's so not that. I mean, you're clicking MP3s at the radio station. Where DJing, especially if you want to be good at it, it's a whole nother world. So when I learned how to do that, I was like, yeah, 100%. I actually started working at Big Country, and not Big Country, at that time it was Rock and Rodeo, and I was 17. And just started, that's my first DJ job.
Did you ever work at El Dorado?
I've done a few events at El Dorado, but I never worked there like a residency.
Okay.
I've lost a lot of money in there, but I've never worked there.
No, I was a roadie, but really I was just a hangout guy with one of the bands that used to play at El Dorado, but there was always a DJ before our show.
Yeah, he's a great dude too.
Yeah.
His name's Delusion. He's been there for a long time.
That's right.
He's been there for a long time.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, that's it. So weddings, I would say word of mouth has a lot to do with it, and radio absolutely helps. But as soon as I started, then within 4 or 5 months, I was booked up every weekend of the year.
Wow.
And they just kept coming and still do. But COVID was horrible, because COVID hits and it's immediately 25, 30 weddings that have already paid in full that now have to reschedule onto dates that I'm already booked on. So that's 25, 30 refunds of fully paid clients that I still have refunds to issue. And you book out and book for 2022 and 2023. But it's like, I tell people all the time, 2023, I'm gonna make some money.
You're due.
When I get leveled out on everything. But it was so immediate. It was immediate. It was one day it's great. The next day there's no nightclubs. So that was what I called my J money. Just cash on the side, give the kids whatever they need, get I whatever I need, and it's perfect. And that was gone instantly. And on top of that, all of those weddings needed to be refunded. And most brides were really nice about that.
Most.
I'm not gonna say
Keyword
anything.
there.
That's right.
Somewhere, but I get that as well. It's their biggest day.
Sure.
It's very important.
It's only one wedding for them.
So have you recovered, like, as far as the clubs go? Because some clubs are open now. Or?
Not yet. A lot of it is when COVID hit, I thought, how could I ever make it without that money every weekend? And then like with everything, you just find a way. You supplement here and there, and you maybe alter your lifestyle and just enough where it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt you. So now it's like, man, I'm loving going to sleep at 10.
That's right. Trade-offs.
I'm getting older now too. It's like I'm thoroughly loving going to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock. And not having to be not obligated to be somewhere. But there's the big club in Bossier reopened a couple weeks ago, and I was there hosting for the first 2 weekends. But I don't think I'm doing it full time.
Right. Yeah, because some clubs didn't make it in this area. They're closed, and we lost a casino. And
I'm not going to name any clubs, but I will say there's like probably without doubt one of the biggest clubs in Shreveport Bossier in the last 5 years. If COVID would have took another month before they could have opened, they would have lost everything.
It's that close.
Wow.
It was that close.
Yeah.
So
it's complicated for people. We're talking about mutual friends of y'all's that are doing events and stuff, and Jordan over there, and a lot of people. You gig. You got to have gigs.
Gig workers, and there was really no relief for gig workers. You can't file for unemployment, obviously.
Right.
oh yeah, because it's all cash.
Yeah, right. It was, but you'd rely on where you worked to get a PPE loan or something like that, and then they divvy it out to their staff. But
Didn't have that. The weddings aren't doing that for you.
No, weddings I didn't get nothing. That was brutal. But weddings are fine. Like I'd say last July they started coming back every weekend.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
And good on you for doing weddings. I can't do it.
You don't want to be a part of weddings?
No, I did it for 2 years with a guy, and we filmed weddings. And, it was fun, but towards the end, I don't know. I just stopped
they are a
enjoying
different
it.
animal.
They really are.
That's the only time I ever get nervous or stressed is for a wedding, because
Really?
there's so much on the line, and you want to make sure that at the end of the night they have their best, their perfect night, and so that weighs on me sometimes, especially if I don't feel like I did a great job. So I'm driving home thinking, I could have played this song here, or said this here, or done
Ruined
this
the
way.
wedding.
Yeah. And in reality, it's like most things. We worry so much about things that most people don't even notice.
Oh, man. That's good right
or
there. That's
remember.
worth listening to this podcast.
Yeah, here we go.
That's right. All right, well, give us a good wedding story, though. We're about to wrap up and get out of here.
I
you've
don't
had
know.
some
I got a great Justin story.
All right, come on.
Okay, so Justin and I were doing a wedding once. It was a really beautiful wedding, full crowd. But at a wedding, there's always a little bit of tension in the air for whatever reason.
Sure.
There's ice you have to break if you're an official or if you're a DJ. You have to break ice with people and tear down whatever wall that they have put up around themselves. And Justin's so good at that. This wedding is high, man. I mean, everyone is dressed up. It's beautiful. It's an organ player. Like, it's perfect. And everyone's in place. The bride walks down. She looks stunning. She gets set. The organ player stops. And Justin looks at the groom and looks at the bride and looks at the groom again and goes, man, good thing you're a fireman, because this girl is hot. And immediately the place laughs and
Tension breaks.
and I'm in the back crackling for 10 minutes. It was just the funniest opening line at a wedding. But that's probably my favorite.
That's a good one.
It's a great. I tell this story a lot.
Oh, man.
It was just a great. I tell other officials that. I'm like, dude, you got to hear what this guy said. It was so funny.
Because I bet they're not all like that.
No. But like I said, it's an important thing at a wedding to break that ice, and he's the best at it. Where now the reason that's important is in 4 minutes when he gets into his delivery and his speech, and he has stuff that he wants to get across, it'll be received better.
Oh, man.
'Cause he's already made them laugh. So now they're going to be open to him.
Something he said for a long time is people don't know that, don't care what you know until they know that you care. And that's a big part of Simple Church is that you break that ice, you make a joke, you can be relatable, and then people are much more receptive instead of you coming out the gate.
For sure.
Being very strict and serious. And,
No doubt.
oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, Jay.
Well, we covered some fun stuff.
We did. We
man.
covered a lot of stuff. The conversion van. If you live in
guest.
Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Oh, no, it was in Florida that you left it
I live
there.
in Destin.
Highway
Hattiesburg,
98.
I hate it.
That's right.
I hate Hattiesburg.
Strong takes.
It makes me mad.
But look for that conversion van. The Angel might still be out there.
I hope it's out there. I hope
right.
you're out there, Angel.
Hope you're listening.
That's right. Man, thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing
Thank
this.
you for the invite.
Sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
don't sing more.
I was singing that Angel song.
He'll get you to collaborate on a diss track here.
No.
Yeah, my diss track days are done.
One thing I can't do is sing and rap.
That's the one thing.
Well, there's lots that
All
I
right.
can't do.
And on that note, thanks for listening. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming and tuning in.
Thank you for being here, Jay.
No, for sure. Thank you all for the invite. I appreciate it, Easter, and I've loved this. This is cool.
Absolutely. We'll have to get you around for some more stuff.
Come on,
I
man.
like it.
Thanks for listening or watching this episode. We really enjoyed Jay, and thanks again to Jay for coming. We appreciate him talking about
Fantastic
his
guest.
story. That's right. It's really interesting stuff.
I mean, and he's a Walnut Hill alum.
Now we know you're both Wasps for life.
Yeah. No, Hornets.
Hornets.
Wasps. There's a difference.
That's insulting.
Yeah.
I apologize.
You better. Are there any wasps out there? I mean, like school-wise.
Bird is the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, but it's not a wasp. Well, I guess it's in the wasp family.
I'm not sure.
Anyway.
If you know about Wasp or anything else, comment on this.
Yeah.
Let us know. Scott, what's the email? We haven't asked that for a while. If you want to email.
Podcast at thesimpleChurch.tv. Podcast.
With an S.
With an S. Or you can just email me directly at scott@thesimpleChurch.tv.
If you have guest ideas, something that's going on you want us to know about, we would love to talk to you.
Yes, we would. And also, if you were a wasp, like your high school or college was a wasp.
Or if you saw a van on the side of the road in Florida somewhere.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Look out for Angel if you're out there in Destin, Florida.
That's right. Give us a 5-star review. Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode.
Yes, please do. Because remember, it keeps Evan employed.
That's right.